The IRS decides to audit Grandpa and summons him to the IRS office. The auditor was not surprised when Grandpa showed up with his attorney. The auditor said, "Well, sir, you have an extravagant lifestyle and no full-time employment, which you explain by saying that you win money gambling. I'm not sure the IRS finds that believable. I'm a great gambler, and I can prove it," says Grandpa. "How about a demonstration?" The auditor thought for a moment and said, "Okay. Go ahead," Grandpa says. "I'll bet you $1,000 that I can bite my own eye." The auditor thinks a moment and says, "It's a bet." Grandpa removes his glass eye and bites it. The auditor's jaw drops. Grandpa says, "Now I'll bet you $2,000 that I can bite my other eye." Now the auditor can tell Grandpa isn't blind, so he takes the bet. Grandpa removes his dentures and bites his good eye. The stunned auditor now realizes he has wagered and lost $3,000, with Grandpa's attorney as a witness. He starts to get nervous. "Want to go double or nothing?" Grandpa asks. "I'll bet you $6,000 that I can stand on one side of your desk and pee into that wastebasket on the other side and never get a drop anywhere in between." The auditor, twice burned, is cautious now, but he looks carefully and decides there's no way this old guy could possibly manage that stunt, so he agrees again. Grandpa stands beside the desk and unzips his pants. But although he strains mightily, he can't make the stream reach the wastebasket on the other side, so he ends up urinating all over the auditor's desk. The auditor leaps with joy, realizing that he has just turned a major loss into a huge win. But Grandpa's own attorney moans and puts his head in his hands. "Are you okay?" the auditor asks. "Not really," says the attorney. "This morning, when Grandpa told me he'd been summoned for an audit, he bet me $25,000 that he could come in here and pee all over your desk and that you'd be happy about it." Two buddies are out hunting. After a long day, they sit down to have a drink and relax. They both sit down on some fallen logs. Right as they settle in, a rattlesnake comes up from under the log and bites one of them right in the dick. The man starts screaming and falls to the ground. His buddy jumps up and sees the snake slithering off. His friend is rolling around on the ground, grabbing at himself, and shouting for help. He tells him he's going to jog to the top of the mountain and try to catch a cell phone signal and get help. He runs up to the peak, gets a bar of signal, and calls 911. He tells the operator that his friend was just bitten by a rattlesnake. The operator tells him, in order to save your friend's life, you must drain the venom before it reaches his heart, and the only way to do this is to find the bite, cut a crosshatch in it with a knife, and then use your mouth to suck out the venom. Otherwise, your friend will die from the venom. "I understand," the man says, and he runs back down the mountain to his friend. He gets back to camp and finds his friend still on the ground in agony, clutching at his snake-bitten dick. "What did they say? Did you call 911? What do we do?" "I did. I am so sorry. They said you're going to die." A woman decides to have a facelift for her 50th birthday. She spent $15,000 and looks sensational. On her way home, she stops at a newsstand to buy a newspaper. Before leaving, she says to the clerk, "I hope you don't mind my asking, but how old do you think I am?" "About 32, is the reply. "Nope. I'm exactly 50, the woman says happily. A little while later, she goes into McDonald's and asks the counter girl the very same question. The girl replies, "I'd guess about 29. The woman replies with a big smile, "Nope, I'm 50. Now she's feeling really good about herself. She stops at a candy shop on her way down the street. She goes up to the counter to get some mints and asks the assistant the same burning question. The clerk responds, "Oh, I'd say 30. Again, she proudly responds, "I'm 50, but thank you." While waiting for the bus to go home, she asks an old man waiting next to her the same question. He replies, "Lady, I'm 78, and my eyesight is going." Although, when I was young, there was a surefire way to tell how old a woman was. It sounds very forward, but it requires you to let me put my hands under your bra. Then, and only then, I can tell you exactly how old you are. They wait in silence on the empty street until her curiosity gets the better of her. She finally blurts out, "What the hell?" Go ahead. He slips both of his hands under her blouse and begins to feel around very slowly and carefully. He bounces and weighs each breast, and he gently pinches each nipple. He pushes her breasts together and rubs them against each other. After a couple of minutes of this, she says, Okay. How old am I? He completes one last squeeze of her breasts, removes his hands, and says, Madam, you are 50. Stunned and amazed, the woman says, That was incredible. How could you tell? I was behind you at McDonald's. My girlfriend and I had a party to go to last night, so we thought we'd nip to the shops to get some food to cook up and line our stomachs with. So we got to the supermarket, collected all of our ingredients, and whatnot, but then when we approached the checkouts, there was a massive line, and we would have ended up being late if we waited and cooked. There was a McDonald's nearby, so we decided to ditch the cooking and just go there instead. We walked around the corner and got to McDonald's, but as soon as we got there, we saw that once again, the line was enormous and was nearly coming out the door. After much consideration, we decided we just have to go hungry as we hate being late. Hopefully there'll be some nibbles on at the party anyway. So we ditched McDonald's and went to the off-license liquor store to pick up some booze to drink once we got to the party. We arrived there, and lo and behold, the line was massive again. We were running out of time and we knew the hosts had a large punch bowl for everyone to enjoy, so we decided to head straight to the party, and would have to apologize for being empty-handed. Finally, after a stressful day, we got to the party. Everyone was laughing, drinking, and having fun. My girlfriend turns to me and says she's heading to the bathroom. 30 seconds later, she comes back. That was quick, I said. I didn't end up going. You'll never believe it, but the line was huge again. She replied, At this point we both just wanted a drink, so we went to the kitchen, and as I found the bowl of booze, I said, Would you look at that? No punch line. A student is in engineering class when the teacher asks, What is a machine? Student 1. A machine is anything that reduces human effort. Teacher, will you please elaborate? Student 1. Anything that simplifies work or saves time is a machine. Teacher, what is the true definition? Student 2. Sir, machines are any combination of bodies so connected that their relative motions are constrained, and by which means force and motion may be transmitted and modified, as a screw and its nut, or a lever arranged to turn about a fulcrum, or a pulley about its pivot, etc. Especially a construction more or less complex consisting of a combination of moving parts or simple mechanical elements such as wheels, levers, cams, etc. Teacher, wonderful! Perfect, please sit down. Student 1. But sir, I said the same thing in simple language. Teacher, if you prefer simple language, join an arts and commerce college. Student 1. But sir, what's the point of blindly cramming a definition from the book? Teacher, that's enough. Get out. Student 1. Asterisk proceeds to walk out, then walks back. Teacher, why are you back? Student 1. I forgot something. Teacher, what is it? Student 1. Instruments that record, analyze, summarize, organize, debate, and explain information, that are illustrated, non-illustrated, hardbound, paperback, jacketed, non-jacketed, with a forward, introduction, table of contents, and index, that are intended for the enlightenment, understanding, enrichment, enhancement, and education of the human brain through the sensory route of vision, sometimes touch. Teacher, what in the world are you talking about? Student 1. Books, sir, I forgot them. May I go ahead? Teacher, couldn't you have simply asked? Student 1. I tried earlier, sir. It simply didn't work.